Hello, you're looking extremely well. Welcome along. This is videocast number 150. In this episode, I want to talk a little bit about Spotify's Marquee. Very exciting that I was eligible a few weeks ago to launch myself onto Spotify's Marquee, one of their promotional tools. So I want to tell you a little bit about how that's going for me. Rather interesting. I just want to update a few of the other numbers in a sort of slightly self-congratulatory way, because here's the thing. If no other goddamn person's going to congratulate you, then I think self-congratulation is absolutely in order. So I'm going to do a little bit of it here. Be warned, but at the same time, I'm recommending that you also congratulate yourself on any little victory, however small, however trivial, that you get along the way, because we know there are, downtimes. So celebrate those ups when you get them. And then I want to play out today with another cover version. I've done a few of these. I tend to do cover versions when I'm running out of ideas of actual original songs, and there's a bit of a pause. And I think there's plenty to learn from doing cover versions. I don't think it's a waste of time at all. I think it could be really good fun. Find interesting songs to cover, and even if you try and copy them exactly as they are, you will do it your way. And so however you do a cover version, you will still kind of shine through that, I think. So we'll come on to that in just a moment. So let's start with a bit of a general roundup, shall we? Just in the last week or two, it looks like I have exceeded, in total, for all the songs I've ever released since the beginning, about 2 million, just over 2 million streams. So that's good, isn't it? I don't think when I started this in 2017, I would have imagined really getting anywhere near 1 million. I'm not sure, what kind of aim I had. I don't think I had a number in mind, and nor should I have had. But anyway, 2 million streams and counting. What I would hope is that I can get to the 3rd million faster than it took to get to the first and then to the second. The 2nd million took less time than the 1st million, but, who knows. So that's nice, isn't it? Then the other thing I want to just mention is that, okay, this is quite important. Over the whole time that I've been doing Adventures in Pop, there have been a lot of episodes where I have left you with a song. And quite often, these songs are songs that then have not appeared on any album. And in fact, in a way, that's been part of the purpose of it, is to kind of fill you in on the ones that get away, the ones that don't quite make it for whatever reason. Because even the ones that, aren't good enough to go on an album, they might have their fun features. They might have a nice verse, but not a nice chorus. They might have a nice chorus, there'll be something that is good enough that at least I finished it, So some of them are quite fun. Some of them I think are just a bit weird, and that may be why they haven't gone onto an album. So look, one day, perhaps when I'm much older, I'll do the album of weird ones, and all the weird bits and pieces. But for now, what I wanted to say was, over this 150 episodes of Adventures in Pop, probably there are about 20 to 25 songs embedded in these videos that have been unreleased. What I want to do is go through the episodes. I've done a bit of this already. I've done a bit of preparation, just making a note of which song I sang on which episode. And then I'm basically going to cut the actual song out of the video and put it out on YouTube separately. Now, I don't need to make a big song and dance to this. I don't need to do a new Adventures intro every time I do it. I'm just going to put them out there. So what you will see is, over the next few weeks, a bunch of these songs that aren't album songs just floating out onto YouTube, and you're incredibly welcome to snap them up and see if you remember hearing it the first time, and see if you like it. Who knows? So I'm just going to let them have another life, really, because otherwise they just get lost at the end of an edition of Adventures in Pop. So let's talk about Marquee for a moment. A few weeks ago, I was rather thrilled that suddenly, out of the blue, I had gone from what seemed like months and months and months of being ineligible for Marquee to suddenly being eligible. And as I said then, it was kind of odd that I was eligible to create a Marquee campaign for tracks which at that time I had not yet released. And I thought that was, I was a bit confused as to how come they were eligible, having not even been released yet, and other ones hadn't been. But, goodness, whatever Spotify doing it, when I become eligible, then I'm just going to make the most of it. But here's the thing. Okay, so what I've got are results of 2 songs that have both had their full Marquee campaign and it's come to an end. So I can compare these 2 songs and the results that they achieved on Marquee. Now, Marquee, let me just remind you with Marquee, you put a budget aside, you pay for this, whereas with Discovery Mode, which I've been using for quite a long time now, you also have to be invited to use Discovery Mode, but I think the bar is much easier to overcome. With Discovery Mode, Spotify just take a bit of your royalties. Thank you. With Marquee, you're making some choices about the promotion and where you want it to happen, how long you want it to happen for, how much money you want to put into it, etc. So the 2 tracks I have had in the Marquee promotion are Fall in Love with Me and You Must Be Laughing. And I've got a little download here from both of them with all their kind of key stats. First thing to say is that they were both targeted on the United States, because I think that was the only country actually that had where I had an audience that was big enough to target them. So I might have wanted to, go for United Kingdom. I might have wanted to go for a whole bunch of countries, but you can't. You can only choose one, and it made sense to go for the one where I have apparently the biggest audience. So United States it is. Now, Fall in Love with Me, 27th of January to the 6th of February was the amount of time. It's about 10 days or so. And then the other one was You Must Be Laughing from the 7th of February to the 17th of February. So they both had exactly the same amount of time. And interestingly, I put £400 into the budget for You Must Be Laughing. No, sorry, for Fall in Love with Me. And £350 into the budget for You Must Be Laughing. But in a way, the most important thing I've got to tell you is that is irrelevant because, well, to a large extent irrelevant, because actually what Spotify spent on my behalf in the end was just over £19, 19 for Fall in Love with Me, and just over £16 for You Must Be Laughing. So I guess my headline from this is that the whole thing has achieved the most modest of kind of lifts for these songs. And here is the reason, because out of a budget of £400 that I put aside for Fall in Love with Me, Spotify have only managed to spend £19. And for You Must Be Laughing, £16 out of 350. So the 400 and 350 don't feel very relevant. The 19 and the 16 absolutely do. So for those rather paltry amounts of money, £19 and £16, what did I get? Well, apparently Fall in Love with Me reached 222 people. And the other one, You Must Be Laughing, reached 221 people. 222, 221. It's not a lot of people, is it? And then from that, the actual number of clicks. So this is the number of times that the tracks were then listened to, from the 222 of Fall in Love with Me, it ended up with 57 clicks, and from the 221 of You Must Be Laughing, it ended up with 48 clicks. So we are really talking, small potatoes here, aren't we? Really, very small potatoes indeed. Is it small potatoes or small tomatoes? I can't remember. You say potato, I say tomato. And then what we got? Converted listeners. One's got 39, the other's got 29. A conversion rate. One's got 17%, the other one's got 13%. Streams per listener. Okay, that's all interesting. Intent rate. One is at 10%, one's at 5%. Playlist ads. There's been a few playlist ads for Fall in Love with Me. And then one interesting one, the people who listened to You Must Be Laughing, it looks like they were much more inclined to then listen to other tracks in my back catalogue. So streams per listener for artists' other releases actually was 11 for You Must Be Laughing. So for each person that came along and listened to You Must Be Laughing, on average, they would then listen to 11 other tracks of mine. And that's really interesting, and that's quite a high number, I think. Whereas for every listener who came over to listen to Fall in Love with Me, even though it looks like there were slightly more of these people, they literally listened to one track, it looks like, from here. Okay, so it's interesting. What that really says, these numbers are really small, and there's only been two songs that have been eligible. So I'm going to carry on doing this as much as I can do. I put in a budget actually of £500 for the next one. Because I just thought, well, might as well, seeing as they're only going to spend £20, it doesn't matter what I put. Now, one day I'm going to really regret that, aren't I? I'm going to put in £1,000 and they'll spend it. Then I'll be sorry. But so be careful about this. But I would like to know why, and this is the bit that I can't explain, as to why Spotify have spent so little of the budget that they were given, that they were offered. So that's something I'm going to have to try and pursue and try and work out what's going on there, because it would be better if they spend more. Okay, enough. Don't want to bore you absolutely to death. Instead, I want to leave you with a cover version. Right, I have done a cover version. I've got to say, it's quite a demanding song. And it's a song that I have loved since the moment I heard it when I was probably about 17 or 18. It was definitely the 1970s. I was definitely lying in bed on a Saturday morning or something like that thinking, I don't want to get up. And this song must have come on the radio. I think I was listening to Capital Radio in those days in London. And I don't really think this song was actually a hit. But I heard it a few times and thought it was utterly mesmerising. It's a wonderful song. Now, the song in question is Highwayman by Jimmy Webb. And I guess I probably, of all the cover versions I've done, which I guess is about half a dozen now, I think this might be my favourite. Now, obviously, with YouTube, I guess as soon as they realise I'm doing a cover version, and I'll make it clear that it's a Jimmy Webb song, it's not my song, I will probably get some notification telling me that I should go straight to prison. So obviously I'm not going to try and monetize this. This is a Jimmy Webb song, but I hope YouTube will behave themselves. It is with some trepidation that I put onto YouTube anything that isn't mine. It's a great track, and it's a kind of history lesson of sort of the American story. And I should just say one thing about it. I found a version by Glenn Campbell, which I really, really like, and I think I'm doing sort of a bit of a mix of Glenn Campbell's version and the very lush orchestrated version that Jimmy Webb released at that time back on one of his late 70s albums. So look, it's a great track. It's not mine. Jimmy Webb wrote Wichita Lineman, and By the Time I Get to Phoenix, a whole load of other things, and is well worth, MacArthur Park, well worth checking out. And this was one of his, in this country, actually kind of non-hits, and it is The Highwayman. I'm going to leave you with this, and I'll be back next week to talk about some more stuff in the world of pop. I share with you more ups and downs from my own pop adventure, and I hope you have a lovely week. Here's The Highwayman. Bye-bye.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. And many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade, and many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blades. They finally hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive. I was a sailor, and I was born upon the tides, and with the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner around the Horn to Mexico. I went aloft to furl the mainsail in a blow, and when the yards broke off they said that I got killed. I am living still. I was a dam builder across the river deep and wide, where steel and water did collide. A place called Boulder on the wild Colorado. I slipped and fell into the wet concrete below. They buried me in that great tomb that knows no sound, but I am still around. It all goes round and 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 round. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. I fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I will still remain. And I'll be back again, 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 again. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da.